We've got some major Deebo Samuel trade news to discuss in this video. First off, Deebo is apparently frustrated with the 49ers using him as a running back last year, as that would most likely shorten his career health-wise and cost him potential money on his next contract. Next thing you know, he's asking the team to trade him and told them to not even make an offer on his next contract. So with the crazy offseason we've had so far that has already included multiple star receivers on the move, most notably in Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, it's looking like we'll have yet another massive receiver trade. In this video, we'll go over the leaked details on the Jets' offer for Deebo, and we'll also be sure to talk about whether this deal is worth it for the Jets in the first place. So according to Tony Pauline of the Pro Football Network, the Jets and GM Joe Douglas are all in on using the 10th overall pick to trade for Deebo Samuel. If you're wondering, Pauline has been right about things in the past. He had linked a Sam Darnold trade to the Panthers and had the Jets taking Zach Wilson in last year's draft. He also broke the Jets GM news a few years ago, saying they'd fire Mike McCagnon and hire Joe Douglas. It seems he's got the right sources within the Jets ownership if he's getting stories like that. Plus, with how hard the Jets went on Tyreek Hill just to lose him to a division rival, I don't think it's a stretch to say they are desperate for a game-breaking wide receiver. And it would be very tough for any team to beat the deal the Jets have if they're giving up the 10th overall pick. The Packers and Chiefs have multiple first-rounders, but they're toward the end of the round. They could potentially pair one of those up with a second-rounder, though. But I also find it hard to believe that the 49ers would send their top weapon to a conference rival in the Packers, so maybe this could turn into a race between the Chiefs and Jets. And also, for anyone who thinks John Lynch saying he won't trade Deebo means Deebo isn't going anywhere, that honestly means nothing. The Seahawks said the exact same thing weeks before they traded Russell Wilson, and plenty of other GMs and head coaches have done the exact same thing. Now here's the question about whether this is worth it for the Jets. Do you want to take the more proven commodity on an expensive deal, or try your luck in the draft on a cheaper deal? When people think of first-round studs like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, or CeeDee Lamb, they think it's easy to find such a receiver in the first round. These guys having the ability to adjust to the NFL so fast has created a bit of a false reality when it comes to the overall picture of first-round receivers. In the last 5 years, we've still had major busts like N'Keal Harry, John Ross, and Jalen Reagor, and the Jets have their very own top 5 receiver selection in former Titan Corey Davis, who has been solid throughout his time in the league, but has never passed 1,000 yards in a single season. It's so easy to fall in love with a prospect before they've played an NFL game, but it's just not always the reality. Believe me, I like plenty of the receivers in this year's draft, but none of them are a guarantee to ever hit the numbers in a season like the one Deebo just had. He put up 1,400 receiving yards, a number that ranks top 5 in the NFL, while pretty much converting to a part-time running back. He scored a rushing touchdown in 5 games in a row and broke the record for most rushing touchdowns in a season by a receiver with 8. He averaged 18.2 yards per reception and 11.6 yards per target. And on the rushing side of things, he averaged 6.2 yards per attempt. All of that comes out to 13.2 yards per touch. If he wasn't forced to run the ball like he did last season, then his receiving numbers would obviously be even more impressive. Still, Deebo will technically be less versatile if he's not running it as much. This past season, he could open up the field for other players like maybe no other player could in football. There was such a focus on a dynamic player who could dominate in so many different ways that the end result was a more efficient offense as a whole. I think he can still affect the game like that, but maybe to a lesser extent. Either way, his presence should help Elijah Moore continue to develop and maybe get Corey Davis set up for a more efficient bounce-back year. If the Jets want to set up Zach Wilson for success, they might be better off going the Buffalo Bills way of doing things, by picking up a high-end veteran receiver to help their young quarterback take things to another level. Deebo is one of the best in the league at gaining yards after the catch, and that's a great tool for an offense that can struggle to move the ball down the field. He would inject life into this offense faster than any rookie in this year's draft. Now, of course, they would have to pay him more than any rookie in this year's draft, so that would take away from other parts of the team that they could spend money on and improve. Pauline said the 49ers offered Deebo a contract sitting at just under $19 million per year, but Deebo is looking for one close to $25 million a year. With Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill all making over that annually, and with the market set to continue to climb, locking in a first-team All-Pro in Deebo at 25 isn't a bad deal at all. Now, to be fair, another question is how Deebo will play when not surrounded by Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel. Shanahan does a good job keeping offenses off balance and uses misdirection to operate Deebo in a variety of ways. Luckily, Mike LaFleur comes from that system, so Deebo would have an easier time there compared to just about anywhere else in the league. He's as close to a perfect fit in the Jets system as you can get. The bigger concern, you could argue, would be his injury history. And while he has had injuries in every year he's been in the league, he only missed one game his rookie year and one game last year, which was his third in the league. In 2020, the 49ers were basically cursed with injuries, and Deebo was a part of it, as he played just 7 games in what turned into a throwaway season. Pauline also touched on what the Jets could do with the number 4 overall pick. He said the word he's getting is that the coaches love edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau, but the front office personnel have a lot of concerns. The coaches see the potential Thibodeau shows on film and feel they can coach the best out of him, but the front office people see the red flags and want to back off. There's been rumors about offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu going to the Jets, but it seems the 4th overall could be on the defensive side of the ball, while the 10th is sent for Deebo, or spent on offense, most likely a wide receiver. No matter what happens, the Jets will most certainly be an improved team this year. They're either getting Deebo Samuel in a top 10 pick, or 2 top 10 picks. It almost seems like you can't go wrong either way, which should feel really good for Jets fans who are used to not feeling so good. So let me know what you guys think of this Jets offer for Deebo. Is it worth it? Is Deebo worth the contract? Let me know in the comments below.